Hi there everybody, this is David, and I do think that a trap that a lot of us seem to fall into whenever we see a free-to-play RPG is like just to say, oh, it's a mobile game, or oh gross, it's just bad, or you might just say, oh, it's free-to-play. That automatically means it's going to be full of microtransactions and absolutely terrible. And, well, yeah, granted, that was probably the case like, 10 or so years ago. Times they are a-changing. And you don't have to look any further than, Honkai Star Rail and Genshin Impact to see some pretty high-quality free-to-play RPGs out there. But while those are action and turn-based, we haven't gotten a good strategy RPG yet. But I am here to tell you that that's about to change with the release of Sword of Convallaria, which I do want to tell you all about today in today's sponsored video. And I do think that that is worth a sub as I try my best to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of this year. And with your like, your help, and your sub, I do think that I can reach that goal. So here, I want to deep dive into the gacha-free story mode and tell you why this free-to-play RPG is a good one and definitely worth your time. And if you would like to check out Sword of Convallaria for yourself, just click on the link below and also use the code SOCCreator to get some in-game rewards and join the fun. I came to y'all a couple of weeks back when I first spoke about Sword of Convallaria, and I kind of gave like an overview of it, but that was the closed beta version, and now it is fully launched and it is available to play on iOS, Google, Steam, and even directly from the website. This is a fantasy tactical RPG in the same vein as Final Fantasy Tactics and Fire Emblem. In fact, you could kind of say that it's like a mashup of the two. And also, just to get this out of the way, like I said in my previous video, I do take my integrity very seriously, and I do want to let y'all know that everything that I do say here is 100% my opinion, and every single contract that I sign states that I'm allowed to express my opinion freely. The good, the bad, and the ugly. And I also received no bonuses whatsoever from the developer because I wanted my experience here to mirror what a normal playthrough should look like. So, with that out of the way, I do want to go ahead and get started. Full disclosure here, both Alex at the channel Backlog Battle and I were playing Sword of Convallaria at the same time. We're pretty close friends after all, as you might know, and the more that we talked about it, the more that we found out that we both really enjoyed it. And honestly, sponsorship aside, I would still make a video about this game because I just really like it. And that's really my bottom line here on the channel. Whenever I talk about games, I have to think to myself, how fun is this game? What is the fun factor? Do I find enjoyment in playing this game? And if I answer yes to those questions, then I'm definitely going to be making a video about it to share my experiences with y'all so that you know that the game is fun too. However, on the flip side of the coin, if it's complete garbage, I also might make a video too because, I want to let you know about that kind of stuff too. So the first thing that I do want to clear up here is any misconceptions that you might have about the game. I did put out a video a couple of weeks back covering my experiences with the closed beta, and there I was hit with a barrage of uninformed comments screaming about gacha mechanics. So here's the deal. Let me be very clear with you. Yes, there are gacha mechanics, but are the mechanics mandatory? No, they are not. In fact, there's an entire game mode that you can play that involves very little gacha whatsoever, and that is a single-player story mode, which quite honestly is my favorite mode, and I think that it's the mode that the vast majority of people want to play anyway. It plays just like a full-price console strategy RPG would. You have in-depth tactical turn-based battles, along with storyline sequences, town building, character development and recruitment, political intrigue, multiple alliances to form with various factions. I mean, just like everything that you would find in like a typical Fire Emblem game or any number of strategy RPGs by Square Enix, you will find here, but for free. Because again, there are no gacha mechanics whatsoever in this game mode. In fact, if you would like to, you could pretty much just like completely ignore the other two play modes and only play this story mode once you unlock it after the first hour of gameplay or so. And I really can like guarantee you that if you're a fan of turn-based strategy RPGs, then you're going to be a fan of this too. There's no AI controlled battling, AFK modes that play the game for you, or those awful difficulty spikes that plague these types of games, which pretty much like force you to play. None of that is here because quite simply, in the story mode, you cannot pay. The gacha doesn't even exist. It's not even an option to even try to use it. It's just not there. So now, with that out of the way, let me dive a little bit deeper into the story mode that I do thoroughly enjoy. This mode of the game itself promises over 120 hours of single-player goodness, and your adventure takes place in Iria, a country rich in magical luxite, and that's unfortunately drawn some unwanted attention from the surrounding countries. So, as tensions are rising and riots break out on the streets, it is up to you, as the leader of the mercenary squad, to save your homeland while also navigating complex political situations, as well as discovering the mysteries of your own past because, like any good hero, you of course have amnesia. You know how in Tactics Ogre your choices actually matter? It's the same way here as you choose which faction is the best for you to work with. Do you want to ally yourselves with the Union of the United States? Or maybe form an alliance with King and Country and stick with the Kingdom of Iria Armed Forces? Or maybe you want to go the religious route and ally yourself with the Papal States? It is completely up to you, and depending on which choices that you make and who you ally yourselves with at the time, the plot, the storyline, and the battles will constantly change, and no two playthroughs will ever be alike, so you'll be going on your very own little journey. Now let me talk about the battle system here, and I hope that you like Fire Emblem because this utilizes a weapon triangle system too. You know, the kind where axe beats shield, shield beats spear, and spear beats bow. However, unlike Fire Emblem, there is not a player turn then an enemy turn round. It's actually a lot more like Final Fantasy Tactics where your agility is taken into account. So you're going to want to utilize your speedy characters like your archers and your rogues to get to strategic locations first and pick off those pesky healers. Well, then your slower characters might take a little tiny bit longer to get over the front row. Everyone is different, as each character can equip all sorts of unique weapons and armor and even combine their skills at any time. So even if you have two same spear users, they might be able to perform vastly different functions depending on how they're set up as well as their positioning. And again, do not mistake this for some sort of AFK journey type of game that plays itself. This isn't it. If you don't pay attention, you die with the quickness. This is just as strategic, if not more, than any mainline Fire Emblem or tactical game that you can buy on a console. The environments aren't just window dressing either. They're not just there to look pretty. If you see something, use it, because you can use it to your advantage. You can climb on top of the wooden crates to reach higher elevations so your archers can pick off foes from afar, while the gunpowder barrels can explode right in the enemy's faces. But don't get too close to it yourself because it can explode in your face too, and that's not good. Hit that thing with some magic, or what I like to do is kick it square in your enemy's faces with Maytha's leg slam ability. If you want to, you can always roll a boulder down a hill and crush your enemies underneath with that too. The possibilities are just endless. These battles are not boring, soulless, flat grids. These battlefields were lovingly crafted, ensuring that you can overcome even the strongest opponents just by using your wits, or, knocking them sheer off of a cliff. But David, you ask, what about the character recruitment? How do you get more characters? Isn't that where the gacha comes in? Well, like I said before, there's no gacha, so no, it doesn't come into play. Gacha is not in this mode. You can't even spend money in this mode. It just doesn't exist. Just as in any normal strategy RPGs, characters will come in and join your party as you complete more and more stages. But if you really want to get the upper hand, you can head on over to the tavern and purchase recruits using in-game gold, just like you would in Final Fantasy Tactics. Then you can teach them some amazing skills, craft their equipment over at the forge, train them up, and send them out into battle. Sword of Convallaria's story mode really did take me by surprise, because normally whenever I go into a gacha game like this, I do go in with some preconceived notions, but this definitely proved me wrong. It was really just a pleasant surprise. This takes everything that I love about the classic golden age of RPGs and weaves it together into one compelling narrative that I just could not put down. So, if you like what you see here and you want to try it out for yourself, just click the link below so that you can join in the fun too, and be sure to use that code SOCCreator to get some in-game rewards. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a good day.